My dislike for my brother-in-law made me disappointed in my husband. Don't get me wrong, I am not holding my husband accountable for other people's behavior. The thing that made me so disappointed is not what his brother does, it's the way my husband reacts to it. Firstly, my brother-in-law is a profoundly parasitic person in every sense of the word. He's a psychic vampire and a misogynist. He feels loved when concessions and special conditions are made for him. And for whatever crazy reason, his family is more than willing to do that. If anything, I might be the first person they all encountered who is seeing it up close and disagreeing. For a very long time, I kept my mouth shut because my brother also sucks in many ways, mostly different from husband's brother. But it doesn't matter. So I figured I had no right to trash his family when mine is so far from ideal. However, a year or so into our life together, I realized that my husband is blind to the evil of his brother's soul. All his complaints against his brother were actually directed towards their parents for not raising him better. The guy was in his early mid-20s when I met him, is pushing 30 this year, so we're not talking about a child. But whenever his brother would say or do evil shit, which clearly had nothing to do with their parents, my husband would either forget it, ignore it, or explain it away. It's mom's fault, dad's fault, their aunt's fault, his best friend's fault, caused by depression, etc. But never, and I mean never, the fault of his precious little baby brother. His brother has done some things that outright screwed my husband over. He was mad at him for a few weeks tops. Then his brain defaults to, he's my brother and I love him. Mode which overrides all facts for him. That's an actual quote from my husband, which should just sound like a fact of life. But instead, since it was an answer to my question on why he was looking away from some shit his brother did, it makes me cringe every time I think of it. Bill is also the kind of person who sticks around for the longest time when visiting. We don't live in the same town, but for a while when we did, literally every single time he'd come to hang out resulted in an all-weekend sleepover. If he was capable of going home after a couple of hours, I could at least tolerate him more. Now my husband is getting intolerant of my brother's behaviors, and honestly, I couldn't care less. I see my husband is actually right in his assessments, or at least more right than wrong. And even if he was wrong, I believe I should take his side, since he's my husband. Yet I find myself defending my brother, not because I care too much to defend him, but because my husband is benevolent and forgiving attitude to his brother made me feel like we are less united as a couple, less on the same page about important things in life. And I know that this sounds bad, and maybe I am a bad person, but imagine being forced to tolerate one of the worst people you've ever met, and then not even being able to share that with anyone, or vent properly. Never feeling understood for the way you feel, for years. Imagine seeing all the toxic shit so clearly, yet the person next to you is completely blinded to it. Before anyone asks why I even got married in the first place, I never wanted to break up just because of that. Everything is okay, but his brother sucks is such a stupid reason for a breakup. On top of it, I know that I may have the right to feel whatever I feel, but I also don't think I have the right to express it. And any time I did express it, over the course of the years, there have been quite a few occasions. I felt like I was stepping over some boundaries that I should have respected. I just quietly felt like he owed it to me, or to any other woman had he not ended up with me. To dismiss his brother emotionally, he told me his long-term ex felt the same way about his brother, not why they broke up. So at least I know I'm not crazy. I for sure dismissed my brother emotionally. And it's quite absurd that I now feel an odd reconciliation with my brother's shit, just because I am so sick of BIL's shit.